Alright, stream is live. Awesome. Probably should mute the stream as well, so that we don't get any weird interference, and pop out the chat in just a moment. Perfect. This looks good. And Ooh, there it is. Alright, chat is popped out, and we hide this window. Let me set this up, and here we go. Maybe someone's watching, and now I would know when. Perfect, so let's go. First, we will go over the patch notes, and yeah, I'll see what take I have on those, and afterwards we can try and find some new strats. Anyway, let's go. So, patch notes today. Casual mode, that will be nice, so we can now finally play unranked, which is good if you have ladder anxiety like I do. Yeah, that will be interesting. Also, of course, for trying out builds, it's probably much healthier than going to a host game and everything. Balance, awesome. HQs have detection, okay. I personally did not have problems with stealth units around my HQ, but sure, why not? Hallucinated units can no longer be healed. Okay, so that's a nerf to, I think, Flowers has hallucinated units, and the Arandi Merc that spawns them. Sure. Grell, they get a new unit. Okay, tier 2. Splash damage and versus light and short range. So it's like a bastion, I guess. Medium incubator, that is about the tech tree time of a bastion. Placeholder, sure. Oh, and that's it. Okay. So they get an anti-light unit. I guess that's pretty awesome in GVG, right? You can defend against stingers much easier, and also dealing with commandos becomes more interesting. Against Legion, this is probably not that relevant. Yeah, maybe you mix summon to like kill ranged thralls more efficiently. We'll see. Alright, but a new unit is a new tool, and yeah, having a new tool is never really bad. Grail Hero. Cooldown reduced, so I'm assuming that is faster attack speed, right? It will attack faster. Let me also move my camera slightly. Oh, I guess this looks better. Yeah, okay. So it will attack slightly faster, sure. And the damage point reduced, yeah, that is also just, its auto attacks are gonna be better and gonna feel more nicely. Cool. Cultivator health reduced, that's important, because cultivators are just way too good. They provide incredible amounts of defense and are very hard to kill. So we also get the armor reduction. Oh, the attacker still has 1 armor. Okay, that's interesting, I guess. I think 200 is probably still too high, because what the cultivator often does is when you're attacking into the Grail base, it's like adding that amount of HP to their army, since the cultivator will block auto attacks. Yeah, also, actually, maybe my microphone is a bit too quiet. I'll try to balance that out a little bit. Let me know if it's fine, let me know if it's not fine. And I could, to be honest, also just do the whole I'm live routine. Let me do that real quick. Anyway, So having, yeah, the cultivator slightly nerfed is a good thing. The armor reduction, sure. I think around like 100 and 150 is then maybe where it should land. Because again, it's like you're paying 5 hexite and you get this amount of HP to your standing army. And for 5 hexite, you basically will pay infinite, right? Yeah, so the attacker, oh, the attacker also has less health. Yeah, that is good. In general, static D is very good in the game, and having that be like slightly weaker sounds about right. Yeah, I like this change. Will make Grells easier to push, and they are notorious for being impossible to push. So I like it. Flowers no longer stuns structures. Flowers, of course, is the Grell ultimate. Let me take a sip. And yeah, stunning structures is just weird. It can lead to weird interactions where the unit just doesn't pop out that you need to defend, and probably have it not do that is good. Alright. The Harbinger has its damage point reduced. Wait, that is a massive reduction. Oh, but also a nerf. Its AoE does no longer hit air. That is quite important because, yeah, in general, these abilities should not hit air, but they did. But yeah, having this balanced out is nice. So I guess the damage point reduction helps the Harbinger to deal more air damage, and that kind of pays for the eruption not hitting air anymore. And also the better damage point, since the Harbinger was not used as much in the ground battles, will help nicely, like with just, you know, a little push, so that we might see more of those. Lasher. So lashers are the ones on the ground. The ones that move and shoot, not the Thresher. Yeah, they are the ones that don't have to be burrowed, or they can be stealthed. I struggle with those names, I don't know. Lasher and Thrasher is just so close. Anyway, their speed got increased. Okay, so that's a little buff. It's not that huge of a speed increase. Yeah, sure, why not? Fast leg speed reduced. Okay, so they had an upgrade that gave them 30% movement speed, I guess, and now it's 25%. I guess it balanced it out so that the unupgraded Lasher will have the same movement speed, and no, the unupgraded one will be slightly faster, and the upgraded one then probably is about even again. Alright. Charts, heavy increase. Okay, so they deal more damage against heavy. A little bit. Sure. And their structure gets slightly cheaper. I mean, the Lasher isn't a bad unit. I feel like it has always had its place. It's always decent, and this is not gonna change the unit like drastically, make it a lot better or a lot weaker, but it will just help it be slightly better. And yeah, I guess that is a nice and good change. Sure. Like, yeah, it will just make them a little bit more accessible with the medium incubator. You can make more medium incubators to get more lashers easier, and sure. That is, yeah, quite nice, to be honest. I just realized maybe what happens if I get a little bit smaller. Alright, let's do this. Okay, anyway. Reaver. So the Reaver gets nerfed. 1 armor reduced. That is quite huge, actually. The base Reaver is already, like, or it used to be insanely hard to kill for Legion specifically. And at least now the base Reaver will fall, like, way quicker. I mean, that is a 50% increase in damage taken from... Does it make sense? No, it does not make sense. But it's huge. Like, the difference with 2 and 1 armor is drastic. Charge time of the cast got reduced. Yeah, I'm not so happy about this. I mean, it's not really a long amount of time. Like, it's not really that much faster, but still, I don't feel like the charge cast time was necessarily too long. Yeah, you would mostly hit Legion armies anyway, and maybe against Protectorate I can see it, but yeah, it's not that much. Like, whatever. The cast range increased. Wow. Oh, and the speed increased? Oh my, okay. Huh. These are a lot of changes that, like, just pushed the charge. And I don't see how that was really necessary. Like, to do all of them? Maybe one of them or two is fine, but all of them? Oof. Weavers are, like, very, very strong, and their damage against Legion is just absolutely nuts. So these buffs, like, at the moment you can basically not split your army against them, because that's just not how the Legion army used to work. So yeah, I feel this almost makes the Reaver a little bit stronger at the base level, at least. I mean, the infused one and the upgrade one gets 2 armor, so having 3 instead of 4 then, because the upgrade gives 2 additional armor, will not make the Reaver a lot stronger, but yeah, the base Reaver is very much buffed. Interesting. And I guess, yeah, maybe this balances it out, but yeah, that's like the thing. The Reaver was so good that it really needed a nerf, I feel like. And this is not a nerf, this is like a change where it's probably still about as good as it used to be, and that is kind of awkward. Alright. Okay, so let's go to the Root Colony Attacker. Wait a minute. That's this, right? Root Colony Attacker? Cultivator Attacker? I'm confused. Oh, no, wait a minute. I see, that is the main base and the expansion. So that got nerfed. Okay, sure. I think it was the best defender by far, since it had a lot of damage and like not a high amount of hits. So it could get around armor quite effectively, and this puts it probably in line with the power of the other base defenses. So yeah, good change. Seedling, they run faster and have less vision. Oh, also the flying one has less vision. Yeah, I like this very much, to be honest, because seedlings are like flying ones. It's so easy to scout with them, and this makes it at least so that you have to get in contact with a unit more when you see it. So your opponent might also be able to see the flying seedling and maybe even attack it. Yeah, good changes on the seedling. This could be problematic, but then again, we have some large maps, and this opens up the possibility to create even larger ones where the seedlings, yeah, are just able to walk where they need to be to make cultivators, buildings, or nourishing pots. So decent change, sure. All right, here we go, my Legion. It's time, boys. Let's see. Let's find out what they did. Inquisitress, charge, energy reduced. Energy reduced? So I guess charge cost energy reduced? This is what exactly is charge energy reduced? I'm assuming it's the ability that costs slightly less, but that doesn't make sense. So it's probably her own mana regeneration that is slightly lower. So instead of like gaining 50 mana per, not second, probably per minute, she now gets 14. Yeah, I'm assuming it's that. So a slight nerf, not a buff, and the attack leash increased. Attack leash range. Attack leash range. So I'm assuming that is that units will target the Inquisitress more, and the Inquisitress will be better at pulling creeps and having creeps follow her around. I guess I haven't played Inquisitress much, but when you're using the jump to clear minion camps, you probably jump out of this range, right? This one. So having this higher range for minions to follow you is quite nice. Okay. Performance enhancer talents, move speed reduced. Okay, that was the movement speed aura. Sure. I don't know if it was too high. I never really got it, I think. So, okay. Apparently it needed adjustment. 16% is a weird number, though. Why not 15? I mean, sure, 16 is a little bit higher, but it's also just weird. Well, the ranged thrall... Oh, gets built faster. Okay. Well, the ranged thrall is the core unit of the Legion comp in like later and stages of the game, so past the early game. And yeah, this makes more thralls, so Legion's army will just be a little bit more powerful because you'll have more. Alright. Armored thrall reduced. Okay. So the saw upgrade with light units, it made it so the armor thrall would deal 30 damage per hit. And it was basically unplayable. Like, it's complete garbage. You would never want to get it, because the other upgrade you can get gives you an additional armor and 50 HP, which means that the armor thrall, you usually, like, you get them to tank damage, not to attack. And you definitely don't get them to attack light units. So, yeah, like, I was joking about this, but also being very serious. Like, this could be 1000%, and the upgrade would still not be good. So I'm kind of confused why this got nerfed. Because there's nothing really that, like, the armor thrall did with light damage. But then again, it does not matter at all, just because nobody will ever get this upgrade anyway. Next up, the Rhino. So, will it get nerfed or buffed? I fear it will get buffed, and the Rhino already was the strongest Legion unit, but nobody knew. Anyway, speed increased. Huge buff. Yeah, being faster is crazy. Range increase, so now they actually always attack, which is huge for the Rhino, because that was one of its issues for sure. And we have the sight range increased. Okay, so this does not matter at all. That is like, what, 5% more vision-ish? Not even. That's like, well, it does not matter. It also didn't for the Rhino at all. Like, the vision was never an issue. But it's a buff, whatever. The mortar size reduced together with the range increase and the speed increase. Like, speed in this game matters a lot for melee units to actually attack. And having the model size reduced and the... Oh, I skipped over the build time reduce. That's also crazy. Wow. That is also a huge buff, like, sure. So I guess all Legion units except the Armored Thrall? Okay. This did not receive a build time reduce, but the others all did. Then again, the Armored Thrall was on a 22-second timer anyway, so okay. That's even now, but again, the Rhino, completely busted unit before. It flew under the radar. People were using it wrong, and that is why we get all these crazy buffs. The health got reduced, okay, but 25 is not, this is not enough to make the Rhino, you know, not be able to be the most broken unit that Legion had. And yeah, it's still gonna be the most broken unit. And with all the other buffs, like, okay, reduced model size, increased range, speed, wow. Rhinos are gonna be crazy. Life regeneration. This is actually a nice change, because it was kind of weird having your rhinos take damage and then they just, well, can't heal because they are rhinos and not like thralls. You can't even sacrifice them with Galavax. So this is a nice quality of life. Just it feels good if they regenerate, even though like 1 second, what are you gonna do if your rhino has, I don't know, 50 HP left? You're gonna put it in the corner of the map and wait 2 minutes? That's not gonna happen. But it just feels nice, so this is a cool change that would not make the rhino more broken than it already was. The knockback got swapped with a slow upgrade. Now slow, okay. So now we have a slow instead of the knockback. That is very important. Like that, it was a problem that the rhino would hit the unit and push it away from where you would want the unit. Like, of course, when I connect with the melee unit, then I don't want the thrall, not the thrall, the rhino to push it away, because then it has to close the distance again. So this helps nicely with the rhino just being a better attacker. And yeah, also the knockback. I mean, it was cool running in front of an opponent's hero and then pushing it into your army, but a slow basically does the same thing. You don't have to go around the unit anymore. So this is also a huge buff to a broken unit. And we have the supply reduced. Sure, why not make it way better? Then again, 3 supply meant that with mines it would always drop 1. With 2, this is no longer the case. So I wouldn't say that is worse, because having it more of a unit is always better than having it do something weird when it dies. But yeah, this is also a crazy buff. Rhino, absolutely broken. Gonna be nerfed, if not hot fixed very soon. Insane stuff. No way this is gonna stay the way. It is here. Alright. And oh, hi May. Welcome to the stream. Enjoy your lurking time. Yeah, let's do the Rhino Stampede every game. We have probably 16 hours until it's nerfed. Alright. Ah, I see. Yeah, it took so long for mine to update. It was crazy. I know. It's probably better if we don't stampede people. But, you know, I saw B kind of going in that direction, but he did not quite figure it out yet. He might, though. And then the Rhino will get rightfully nerfed. Anyway, the Dreadnought is next. Turret cost reduced. Okay, so it now costs the same as the Terror Tank. That makes sense. It was absurd that it was more. The beam range reduced. Okay, I guess we are getting a buff to the beam damage. I see. Yeah, you should use a few rhinos. Like every Legion player should probably have the first, I would say, 6 units coming out of the racks be rhinos, because they obviously can do all the good stuff, running around, hunting harvesters, and because they are so fast now, they cannot be caught, and that is something that Legion never had. And yeah, with the Rhino, they do have it, so they can abuse it to the fullest. And oh, sure, Jumper Fix, I can link you the document. It is in the Discord though. So let's see. Here we go. I don't want the, oh, not like this. Oh, I don't know if that worked. And let me send you the link. Huh. Doesn't let, oh, May did it. Thanks, May. All right. Yep. Awesome. Anyway, so beam range reduced, beam turret bonus range reduced. So they really don't like the Dreadnought with a lot of range, huh? The base DPS increased to, from 10 to 16. So that is about a 50% damage increase. Let's see. But that's it? Okay. That is still not enough to make the Dreadnought like a viable unit for killing a heavy unit, for example the Reaver, because it used to take fully upgraded with the beam turret, which does increase its DPS. It took, let me get this wrong, I think 56 seconds ish to kill a Reaver. Maybe less, maybe it was like 40 seconds, but like having a unit that costs, what is this, 100, no, it costs 300, 600, 750 and another 100, and so 750 flux and 150 hexite to like kill a Reaver infused in 20 seconds. That's not good enough for 20 supply, and for that cost you would much rather have other units. But for the late game, of course, the Dreadnought is amazing because you get to spend your leftover flux, which you will have infinite of in the late game, since Hex mines out, but Flux does not. So yeah, in those spots, sure, go for the Dreadnought. But as an anti heavy unit, this will not help. Also, I'm missing like a change where the Dreadnought is targeting the heavy units, because that is also like a huge problem with it. It just attacks, like, let's say for the Reaver, it will start attacking a Stinger. Let's say you want to kill a Terror tank, and then it kills a turret instead, and then goes for like Thralls. That does not work with a unit like this, so... okay, I see we have Galawax changes coming up, sure. Tend to help the Rhino from the... Okay. So these changes definitely helped to differentiate the Rhino from the melee Thrall. It made the Rhino even more broken than it already was. We talked about this, but yeah, it will get nerfed, so it's okay. Anyway, Terra tanks. Main turret has a... nice. So we finally have the Terra tank. Oh, also, yeah, we have the Terra tank against a heavy unit, and it builds faster. Interesting. So 45 seconds was the Valkaru build time. I don't know if we are gonna have changes to Valkaru, but having that as the baseline is pretty nice, because yeah, the Terra tank build like obviously relies about having a Terra tank and getting that earlier, even without like the Valkaru buff to building speed. That is pretty neat. Also, the T-Tower, of course, is supposed to buff the build speed, and if they fix that, then you might be able to make like a Terra attack in 30 seconds-ish. And yeah, that is pretty good. But with the heavy damage against heavy units, of course, yeah, that makes the Dreadnought even worse, because the Terra tank is super versatile. You want one in your army, it's good to use, it synergizes nicely, it is a superior siege weapon and everything. So you're never gonna be like, okay, let me make a Dreadnought to do what the Terra tank does. Yeah, you will just go for the Terra tank. But then again, the Dreadnought is a heavy flying ship, and it will need some time to find its place, but eventually we should get there, since Legion does not actually have flying units, so that should be possible. Alrighty, to be balanced. Okay, so the Thralls are next. Charged shot cooldown. Oh wow, that is pretty big for fighting armored units, because yeah, it just like the charged shot is the one that deals double damage. That helps you get through like Reaver armor and everything, and having that be a 10 seconds That's kind of nice. So, like, usually you would proc it once in a fight, probably, but it does not matter that much because your thralls die immediately anyway. But with 10 seconds, I can see myself trying to micro them like way more, so I get 2 shots off with the upgrade, and that can matter and be quite powerful. So okay, huge buff to that upgrade. And here are the Galavax changes. Let's go. Lightning replaced with Lightning Spear. So we do not have any value anymore from our thralls dying. And the Legion army fights against other Legion armies will not be as comical anymore, where just everything pops. Well, I like that, but you know, it's probably better that way. Then again, like, Lightning was huge for Legion. It wasn't what made Legion playable, but it was just attack you had to get every time, all the time. So let's see what powerful thing they replace it with. And we got the Sacrificial Spear. Oh, okay. It now does a lightning, so that is when you, the F ability, sure. 40 damage, slows 4 nearby. Okay, so it gets a kind of a lightning effect, or it's weird. Why is it? it just deals more damage and gets an AOE. So Sacrificial Spear just gets better. I don't know why they bring lightning into this. Lightning has nothing to do with it. The spear is now just an AOE that deals more damage and slows in the area. Okay, I get it. So more sacrifice is the upgrade where when you have a sacrificial site that was created by the spear, then you will spawn more sacrificial sites. That's why it's called more. Gotta be smart. One thing I just realized with the spear, if you kill your own unit, you will deal 40 damage in an area. So that is actually quite neat. Because it used to be, of course, you wouldn't get anything. If you, not anything, you get the healing, right? But you don't get any damage. And now you do. And that is cool. Also, if you use, this is a huge incentive to use it on a melee thrall now. And yeah, because you're the melee thralls will of course be next to an opponent's unit, so you will hit the 40 damage and the slow. And that also creates interesting gameplay because the melee thralls, you don't want to kill them too early, but if you target them too late, they're obviously already dead because they take a lot of fire. But when you can hit the sweet spot where the thrall dies while the sacrificial spear is mid-air, it will still land, create the site, and you get the value. So that helps with a lot of player expression, and yeah, that is nice. So this is a cool mechanic that you can abuse the better you get at Legion. I like it. That's a very good change. So back to the more sacrifice, lightning rod, okay. Oh, we don't have more sacrifice anymore. Oh, that's sad. I liked more sacrifice. Infantry dying inside, do 60 damage to a nearby enemy. Okay, I see. Interesting. So we now have lightning only inside the sacrificial site. But I would imagine... Okay, May. Enjoy the stream, enjoy your lurk, and yeah, good effort. No, whatever. Just succeed with whatever you are doing while lurking. Okay, back to the lightning rod. So we have we have lightning, but it's only inside of the sacrificial site, and this also, by the way, again, goes nicely with the spear change, that you now definitely want to target melee thralls, because then the site will be closer to your opponent, which means the opponent's units will be inside the site and they will take damage. But also you get like the reverse, that when you target your melee thralls, the site will be closer to your opponent. That means they can kill it more easily and deny the damage from happening. Okay, interesting. I like these changes. I would probably want the site then to be a bit more tanky though. Because at the moment, sometimes it just dies in a random AoE. Like, let's say you're fighting Legion, they just cast their fireball. At the same time, you cast your sacrificial site. And then your site hits, the fireball kills it immediately, and you don't get any of that value. And it's just because of unfortunate timing. So stuff like that feels very bad and should not be like part of the game. It's just not fun. So having a change here would be nice, that the site gets, I think at the moment it has 100 HP, maybe 200. It should probably be around 300 and have maybe, I think it has 1 armor at the moment. It might want to have like 2 or maybe even 3 armor. Like, it should really be important to kill it, but it should also be not easy to kill, right? So you get to make interesting decisions around killing it or not killing it, for that matter. Yeah, but overall, these are interesting. These make for gameplay for sure. Galavax does not zap heroes or just units in general as efficiently anymore, which is fine. That could have been annoying. Not could have, that was annoying. But he also does not just deal damage to an army anymore that is like around. That is something that Lightning did, and that was pretty nice, but that's just gone now. So that is definitely what we lost. But overall, I think the spear, especially unupgraded, can... Oh, wait a minute. It's an upgrade for the spear. Okay. Probably should just be the spear now. Like, this thing should just be a change for the spear, to be honest. Cause, yeah, compare like, okay, I'm dealing 40 damage and slowing 4 enemies in an area. Compare that to what Lightning was, right? Lightning was, I deal 60 damage for every unit I lose, and I deal 60 damage every 15 seconds. In a huge range. So these are not even remotely comparable in power. So that is like a huge nerf to this moment in the tech tree. And then you have to basically to get Lightning, you have to pay another 200 flux. Oof. That is a hefty investment. Wow. And if you get this, I imagine this still competes with the fireball. Yeah, this competes with the fireball, so you won't have the fireball if you have Lightning. Ugh. How is Legion? Well, okay. Legion is gonna push things with the Terra tank now, maybe more? Oof. Like in entrenched positions with buildings and everything. I mostly play Legion, but I also play a mech protectorate style. Yeah, but my insights, I hope that my biases aren't that big, but my insights on Legion is just the best because I play mostly Legion, right? But I hope I'm not biased towards anything, because what I want the game is just the game. Like, I want the game to be great, no matter what faction I play. So let's get back to the bite with Storm. Auto attack, create a storm. Single target area. How much damage? Let's see, it's a 20-second cooldown. Oh wait, sacrificial bite. So I'm assuming this is the sacrificial site that does the attack then. Do you maybe know that, Jumperfix? yeah, I play mostly Legion, then some Protectorate, and pretty much no Grell, unless in 2v2 to somewhat troll. But yeah, so again, this means that the sacrificial site is incredibly important now. And did not get buffed though. So there is no, like, let's see, like, yeah, no health increase, no range increase. Ugh. This is rough. Like, overall, this makes Galavex so much worse. Even though the play, I can see the play, like, this is gonna be fun to do. You also pretty much want to drop a mana regeneration obelisk next to Galavex now, so you can replace multiple healing sites. Not replace, but just place, so that you get all your... Oh, one thing. You get all your buffs. I'm assuming these don't stack. Like, technically they could stack, right? Because, so that, like, if I have 2 sacrificial sites, then it should deal 120 damage. It does not say it's only once, so maybe they do. And especially with this auto attack, sure, I just want as many sacrificial sites as I can. So I'm just gonna mana the Galavex up and go, okay, kill this thrall, kill this thrall, kill this thrall, and then have all of these, like, have the attack, get like 180 damage, and if they, like, go for the attack, I also deal damage and keep them inside the site. If these stack, I would say if these stack, then Galavex is in a equally powerful place than he was pre-patch. If these don't stack, then it is more fun to play. It's not more successful to play, but more fun to play, but it's a lot weaker. Okay. Wrath? Nearby units, self-dropping mines. Oh, that's a top bar talent. It's energy. So, okay. So I guess we don't need the mana regeneration obelisk anymore for Galavex, or almost in general, because if your unit die, they now regenerate mana for your heroes and for the Rhino, for that matter. Infantry, mercenaries, as well as thralls. So thralls, Rhinos are not thralls, so this should not work with them. I'm missing value in death. There should be value in death range got increased from 900 to 2000. That is definitely absent and should be here. It's comical how low the range for with value in death is. It's so comical that it doesn't even make sense, because you're supposed to use it with, like, tanks and your heroes, of course, but both the tanks, like, almost any tank you can get in the game, except the Dread Raider tanks, the mercenary units, they just outrange the value in death range. So this was just super awkward, and like something that as a player you would only know if you really looked into it, because it kind of states to you, well, your units die, you should get value, but you often didn't. And yeah, so this should have been changed. There's no reason to have the range be awkward for the player, and I'm sad to just not see it here. Overall, I think, I mean, the Rhino is there, right? It's broken, it's busted, it has to be nerfed. So at the moment, just because of the Rhino, Legion is by far the best faction. But let's say they fix the Rhino, they nerf it to where it should be, then this is rough. Like, phew. This is really rough, because, like, the Storm thing is also nice, but you have to sacrifice the third upgrade, I think, so you won't be reviving any heroes, which means Galavex can be sniped easily, everything can be sniped easily. Oof, I don't know. Also, what I'm missing here is the Legion advantage for mercenaries. Every faction has an advantage for, like, that interacts with mercenary units. For Protectorate, it's veterancy. So their mercenaries can level up and become stronger, deal more damage, more health, and everything. For Legion, well, Legion has nothing. And for Grell, it's of course infuse. So you can infuse your mercs. They get stronger, have more health, deal more damage. But Legion has nothing. Legion used to be able to get them earlier, and that was kind of their trade-off, you know? Like, okay, you can't make them stronger, but you can have them earlier. So that was their advantage, and it's still gone. It's absent. I don't like this. I want something to compensate for it. And value in death, for example, would be a nice start, so that at least your thralls buff your mercenaries when you're getting them. At the same like time, everyone else can have them, but theirs can be better and yours cannot. So yeah, that's missing. I think, yeah, let's just hop through. I gotta take a break, but I'm gonna get through these patch notes first. Protectorate, Mira. Mira was a menace. She was able to completely lock you into your base, and we'll see how they are trying to address it. Having the charge, the charge armor duration. Yeah, so she no longer chases as fast no, she's as fast, but she's no longer as fast for that like long amount of time. Like sometimes you would drop double sacrificial spear with Galavax, slowing her twice, and she would still catch up to you due to her movement speed from running. So yeah, good change. Maybe 8 is still too much. Maybe it should be 6. Maybe 7 is where, like, 6 would be really trying to get her in check, and 7 is probably where it should be. Like 8 still seems quite high, to be honest. Damage point reduced. I'm still assuming damage point reduced is a buff. I'm pretty sure that's true. So she will deal damage earlier in her animation. That is how I understand damage point. So this is a buff to her, which is interesting. No longer gains attacking buildings and rocks. I guess rocks are buildings for that matter. So on Star Sand you can no longer go into the middle, get a bunch of stacks, and then go off hitting the enemy's building somewhere. Wait a minute. Oh, attacking buildings in general. So not even attacking enemy buildings you get the buffs. That means you basically can no longer just kill your opponent's buildings at all. That is great, because other heroes cannot do that too. And now Mira has to fight the hero defending the building and cannot ignore it, and you get to interact with her. And even if you would lose your hero, it's not that bad, because she cannot just take down your expansion. And you're not forced to upgrade it into a defense turret. Very good change. Awesome. That fixes a lot of issues with her, but still keeps her like a hero hunter and a good buffer in a later like army fight. She gets more stacks. Okay. But shorter duration. 10 is a lot. But oh yeah. Okay, so I was looking for this. She can have more stacks, but she loses the crazy amount of movement speed. At full stacks, I mean, this is probably gonna be even again, right? 6 times 8, 10 times... And she's a little bit faster at full stacks now, but in general, until she gets like above 8 stacks, she is gonna be slower, which means this, yeah, lets you just get away from her easier, and with slows helps to keep her in check. Good change, I love it. And the attack leash range, so the Inquisitress also got this. Again, this is when you are clearing a camp and you use your dash, that the minions keep coming at you. Also, probably a good quality of life change. This is what I'm missing here with Value and Death. It should be a quality of life change. And yeah, we get these here, which is correct, and sadly not yet. Beam Up, okay. Single target. Beam Up is the top bar ability. So it's back to being a single, and actually it wasn't a single target before. Yeah, there was a big thread talking about this. Oh, no longer target. Oh, interesting. Wow. Okay. This is huge. So Protectorate Harvesters are now, I wouldn't say the most vulnerable, but they are on par as vulnerable as Legion Harvesters probably. Yeah, I guess that's about right. Because Grail Harvesters always regenerate HP, and Protectorate Harvesters can heal themselves as well, but they can no longer be recalled, so it's about even with the Legion Harvesters, who can deal damage but cannot be repairing themselves, but can be recalled, of course. Okay, and the beam up delay, this also makes sense. Like, once you can only recall one unit, then instead of like an entire army, the unit must be recallable faster. Okay, this is a cool change. It's not quite what I wanted for beam up, but it's definitely something that will help keep the ability balanced, but also interesting to use and makes it unique. So this is awesome. Saving, yeah, and this is like saving individual units. This is the point where I'm just gonna be like, okay, so I save my individual tank. It had 100 HP left, and I get it back with 200 HP. It now has to sit in my base for like, what is it, 3 minutes until it's full HP? Is that really saving a unit if you can't use it for like an incredible amount of time? So the heating on like high HP units probably still needs to go up, but I guess we are gonna see that in future changes. Oh, interesting. So nerfs to the top bar infantry upgrades, because these also affect mercs. That was quite powerful. Again, like 4%. Very interesting, these numbers. Health increased. This is tank defense gets reduced. So an overall nerf to whatever playstyle you're choosing for Protectorate. And this makes mercs a better, not a better, but a more attractive option inside the faction. Because compared to these things, the mercs are gonna be better, right? Okay, so Atlas. Yeah, Atlas was a pretty busted unit. So it gets a nerf here with its attack. It attacks slower now. This is probably a pretty big nerf to the DPS. Like maybe, I don't know, 5%, 10%? Yeah, it matters for sure. What I would like to see with the Atlas is a change in its cost. Because it's like the Dreadnought, the Hex cost is very low and the Flux cost is very high. That makes it an incredible, powerful unit in the later stages of the game, where again you run out of Hex, but you don't run out of Flux. And then being able to make Atlases, where other factions, like especially Grell, struggle to make any good units at all, because they are limited by the Hex income, is quite unfair kind of for Protectorate, because the Atlas is so much better than like a Dreadnought or anything really that Grell can make at that point. And on top of that, it has an energy mechanic, which also, of course, energy is free, so they can use that resource to generate even more value in those stages of the game where resources are sparse. So that will probably be addressed in the future. Yeah, at the moment, like, games don't necessarily last that long. People haven't figured out to stay alive long enough to reach these game stages. And even when they do, they don't quite know how to navigate them. So the natural flow towards the Atlas is not quite there yet. But we will probably see that happening at some point, and then we'll get the actual data that the Atlas is actually too good in those stages of the game. Okay, so this Disruptor gets a nerf to its slow. Yeah, especially for Grell, the disruptor is a huge issue. They cannot deal with it very well, and this helps them reach it easier and makes it like less powerful at kiting. Good change, sure, we'll take it. The AOE, oh, the AOE is bigger. I like this change a lot too, because with the harvester, often it will just like, yeah, chuck, like move away into a direction you did not quite want it to go when you press the heal, and this will just make it so that it heals like you intended it to, and that is a fine, like absolutely a quality of life change, and those are always welcome. Ah, love it. Oh, okay, so the attack speed aura got reduced. That makes the other upgrade, which is the increased fire burn around itself, that the Juggernaut can use its attack-based energy for, more interesting by comparison. And having the push priority increased, what that means is now when you're on the defense and you call down your Juggernaut as reinforcements, it will spawn way closer to the position where you called it down, which means you get to use this burn ability from the Juggernaut inside the opponent's army, rather than have it spawn or pushed outside of your opponent's army, and then it's kind of a no man's land not being able to use the ability, and that's weird. And yeah, this should help with that, and probably also with just moving them towards the opponent. So also a very welcome change, quality of life, and makes gameplay more interesting with Jug. I like it. The operating towers, those are the upgraded. No, wait, operating tower damage. Oh yeah, oh, of course. It's also the base defense. It was hilariously bad at killing armored units, and that got changed, so it's now better against armor. That makes perfect sense. And yeah, just a welcome change that is quite, let's say, required. It made no sense how the tower worked before. And these are the nerfs to the turret platform. This is the one that actually attacks. Only 250 HP. I think going down a little bit more to like 600, 550 is probably where the turret platform should be. Because I said this before, the turret platform was balanced with these stats around being a supply depot that you sometimes need to turn into a turret platform to like defend. But how it's right now with the eco, it's more of a turret that is also a supply depot, and in that way it's like way stronger, because you get the turret because you want the turret. You always would get the turret, but you, on top of that, you get the supply, and that is just so much value for the super low cost of 175. Also, the cost should have been changed. Like, turret should be more expensive, and let's see, the build time maybe could also get like a couple of seconds on top. But we did not get that, unfortunately. Maybe next patch. Vision platform also had reduced, but armor increased. It was missing. Okay, so I guess this makes it more tankier, even though it looks like it's not. Armor is just amazing, and yeah. The vision platform in general is like kind of weird, as it gives free vision, of course, up high grounds and everything, and the range is not too bad, so yeah, having it be like slightly more tanky and more interesting to get is probably correct. Okay, so now let's actually, let me take a quick break. I'll be right back, and then we'll take a look at the mercs. That was an interesting chair movement while I was gone, wasn't it? I'll also plug my headset in because it's nagging me about having no energy left. Okay, and now we can finish our patch note review with the mercs. The Arandi teleport cast time is increased minimally, so I guess maybe now sometimes it will actually still get hit when it's trying to jump away, which makes it slightly more easier to kill, but not really. It was just a bit too quick before. The Arandi Lolin, I guess. Yol. Yeah, the Arandi hero is a very strong one. Probably one of the more balanced ones, though. Like, it is annoying. It was crazy good against tier 1 units, but I don't think it was that busted. Like, it was fine, very good, but okay, right? I think it needs some adjustments, and we are gonna see more here, hopefully. But overall, the Arandi hero is not like as broken as Mira or Hell, for example. Anyway, the teleport cooldown is increased, so combined with the cast time increase, sometimes you will now just be able to kill the hero where you would not be able to before. This is nice. It did get away like a little bit too easily. And yeah, now we can maybe catch her on her retreat. The damage got reduced. It was 50. Wow. I thought, to be honest, it was 40. Wow. So the thing is, like, the Singularity does 20 less damage than Fireball. And it's like, it also slows, but it's easier to hit. It has more range, better AoE, it's faster. And it's still dealing more damage than Fireball is kind of nuts. I thought it was 40 damage. So I would have expected like a change to 35 damage. Or maybe even 30. Then it would be on par with Fireball if it hit twice. But also had the advantage of slowing. But yeah, apparently this ability still gets to be better. Alright, the slow does no longer stack. So when the ball is coming back, you don't get an additional slow, but you still get a reset. The damage point got increased, so that means like essentially the range, not the range, but the hitbox of the ball is slightly smaller. Oh wait, that's probably not the ability. That is for the hero, so its attack is slightly weaker. Sure, that is like a nerf that was not an issue for the hero, so it will not be an issue like after the nerf. It's like, for example, the Reaver's issue isn't having 3000 HP, it's having 4 armor or now 3 armor. So adding or taking away 100 HP just does nothing. It does not matter. It's also stupid how I explain a problem with a unit with a problem with another unit, but let's talk about that some other time. So Shades get nerfed. They were pretty good. I like the damage, especially damage reduction. I don't know if it's DPS or the actual damage, but they were very good against armor. And in general, armor should be strong in the game, especially when you get like early armor. And units like the Shade just made it so that the armor that you would get early, that is amazing against all units, is suddenly not good anymore. But you still had to get it, right? You had to invest in it. And yeah, with the let me shimmy over. With a Shade adjustment in that sense that it is more affected by armor, that is always very welcome here. So Phoenix Guard, range reduced. Oh, I see. Those are the flying dudes. People call them Mutalisks, even though they are not Mutalisks. But yeah, having them have slightly lower range, as they are an infantry unit and can benefit from the top bar abilities is probably a reasonable change. Prison can no longer attack air. What is... Oh, yeah, the prison is like the spellcaster Arandi. I have not seen it much. People prefer going for shades and the guard. But yeah, this is an adjustment. It probably didn't make sense that it could attack air being a spellcaster unit and everything. So, sure. Let's see if someone can at some point break them, and we'll see more of them. Chakru Kingdom, the health of the crab gets buffed, and 10% lifesteal to all units. Ooh. I mean, so 10% lifesteal is when you start to feel it, right? 10% is, okay, this healed me, this actually did something. Below 10% is like, okay, sure, I get like, I deal 1,000 damage and get 30 HP back. I guess that helps. That did something, but it's not much. But 10% is where you start to really, okay, so I did 100 damage, I get 10 back. Sure. That adds up. And for Legion heroes especially, this is a very nice change. And the crab health going up, the crab were designed in a meta where we had way less units. And in that meta, they were a lot tankier because there was just less stuff hitting them. Now we have a way bigger economy with more units, so like limited tanky units like the crab, they need to evolve and adjust and line up with those additional like attackers that will be there. So I guess bringing them back to 250 is probably even okay. Here we have the Dread Raiders. They are getting a buff to the Sniper. Its ability gets more range. The cooldown gets a hefty buff. Okay. And it's cast faster. Yeah, so the Sniper for now is like, was unusable. This crippling shot used to stun. It does only slow anymore. And having it on a 40-second cooldown sounds better. I think even it could go down more to like 30 seconds. It has a good range though. But still, 30 seconds is the build time for most melee units that you would kill with this one shot. It's even like higher than that. So having the sniper be able to like pick one unit off whenever it comes out per sniper sounds kind of right. So yeah, this could probably still get buffed. It's nice that they cast it faster though. Valkaru, speed bonus reduced. Will be fixed soon. Okay, so construction speed of Valkaru is nerfed. I mean, yes, this was bound to happen because Valkaru was too good. I would have liked it more if it stayed at 20% but did no longer affect expansions building. That would probably be my change to it, because like 15% is probably still better than everything else, and anything worse than 15% gets to the point where we just talked about lifesteal at 10%. You don't, with buildings, 10% you just don't feel. So 15% is probably the last time where you're like, okay, I'm getting my expansion so that now I have 100 hex basically more for having it a little bit earlier. And you get your tech like 10 seconds earlier and everything. So it does definitely still do something at 15%. But it would be nicer if just the big issue with getting the expansions up so much quicker was addressed with this, and not like everything else as well. Because getting buildings faster was not really the problem with Valkaru. Yeah, and they specifically go and line that out about the expansions. But then just, you know, take the expansion build time out of this. And that would also fix it. So, I mean, maybe the 15% is perfect. Who knows? We'll find out when it's there. With probably the Rhino nerfs, I'm assuming. Oh, they also get 10% lifesteal now. Oh, wow. Okay, so this makes, again, 10%. 10% is where it matters, especially for Legion heroes. So this is huge. This will probably lead to Valkaru still being the best for the Legion. Which, like, isn't unfortunate or anything, but I liked Moran when we had access to Haido tanks earlier. But yeah, we don't get that, so with just having lifesteal 10% and stronger heroes at level 4 top bar talent, I'm assuming Valkaru is just a must include for Legion. I see, but it will be taken away at some point. Okay, so for now we go Valkaru, and then when it's getting moved to Chakru, we'll take another look at how good everything will be for the Legion. For the other factions, I mean, Valkaru just still does Valkaru things. And oh yeah, the rage range, that is so Valkaru Mercenaries attack faster. It was just like Value in Death, comically low. I don't understand why Valkaru Rage gets a bigger range than Value in Death. Just saying, you know. But sure. I think that 1,000 is probably still too low. I don't actually know what it does, because you would never take it. And you probably still don't take it. But yeah, like these auras should be, I think, around 1,500 at least. Depending on what they do. Like maybe this is actually like giving attack speed every moment they attack or something, and it's absolutely nuts. I just like that it gets higher and more usable. Moving on, the Moran, hell, the nerfs were about, like, they were called for. Hell was stupid in not necessarily as oppressive as Mira was, but still just absolutely dumb to play against. So rescale 2 seconds. 2 seconds. So the weapon attacks faster, I guess. I don't know what this means. Because if the weapon is rescaled, that would be, okay, the weapon model is different now, but that's obviously not what they mean here. So I'm assuming the attack speed just got slightly lower, or actually faster. This helps with creeping. It was very awkward to creep with Hell. I'll give them that. So this, like, sometimes you would stutter step your Hell and it would not attack, even though you felt like you waited for ages. So this will help with creeping, and that's a good change, I'm assuming. The range got reduced, so you have to get Hell's internal like range increase to proc more often to have the same range, of course, and then the same power. So this is a nerf. That's nice, always welcome. The damage point got increased. I see. So this will probably be how they balance out the DPS with the damage point. Yeah, because I don't see damage here. So it does damage faster in a sense, but not... No, wait. It does it does damage... Let me figure this out. Damage point increase. So the damage hits later, but the attack goes out earlier. I think that is how this works. Okay. The stealth got nerfed, the movement speed on the stealth. I think 40% is still too much. Especially when you hit like the sweet spot where you would get the movement speed from being low on HP and the stealth. You would just go at like 1,000 movement speed basically, and that is just too fast. You should not be that quick. And even, I mean, I get why the stealth needs a movement speed increase, because if you don't, then the opponent can just stay on top of you and you can't really stealth away. but 40% is still slightly too high. Yeah, it should be lower, probably around 30, maybe 25, maybe. Yeah, I don't think 35. I would say 30 to 25 is where I see the window for the stealth movement speed bonus. Especially considering that Hell can get it their own movement speed buff by being low on HP. So that should be balanced out in this step. And we have the snipe. We're not kidding. Oh, wow. The snipe got buffed. I'm confused by this, to be honest. Because overall, they are adjusting some stats around Hell. But this is not a nerf. This is like, Hell is still gonna be as obnoxious as, like, powerful. And even, especially with, like, against Legion again, just being 20 seconds means you can sometimes snipe from the high ground, and then the Legion hero will take the damage, and you just wait 20 seconds until you engage him, and they will not have like their health regenerated, but you will have your shields regenerated should they interacted with you in any kind of way. So yeah, this is still oppressive to like the early game probably. So we definitely need some more changes here, some future nerfs, especially addressing the movement speed problem. I like that the cooldown goes up, but the stealth duration should also go down. Yeah, Hell is just way too like. His stealth is like 12 seconds or something. It is absurd. That should... Yeah, that just needs to go down. It would also maybe be nice if the stealth speed, if you got 50% movement speed at the start of the stealth, and then it would go lower and lower and lower, so that the Hell player kind of has to decide in the moment, oh, where do I go now? And if you kind of predicted where they would go, then you just catch them there because there is no more movement speed, right? Yeah, that would be a nice change. I guess I'm gonna make a post about this somewhere. But yeah, Hell still needs some adjusting. The Charger... Okay, so the Moran Charger that can load up units and drive them around is now cheaper. It's still not cheap enough that I would take anyone on this joyride, so... Still not gonna be seeing any charges for now. You should build this alpha. Okay, sure. Hover tank. Okay. Okay, so the hover tank does no longer just give you free shields, free health, basically, on your entire army. It now only regenerates shields faster, which also means that during a fight it's like way less durable, but it still can kite and do its damage. So the hover tank is still a good unit. I like it. Yeah, sure, that's a good change. And now let's go through some quality of life and bug fixes. Looking for some Terra tank specific ones here. Spell hotkey, cancel targeting, sure. Stuck. Cooldowns, movement. Okay, this is nice. Like, I'm not gonna comment on these because there's not really something important with, oh wow, you can no longer build buildings at the same location. This changes everything. Yeah, it's supposed not to work in that way, so. Remap. Okay, talent 2 tabs. Okay, wait, the Dreadnought, you need to upgrade a tower so it detects? Why? Just why? I mean, it's so expensive and so far down. I thought you would already have that. Like, you could see stealth units just by having the Dreadnought. But apparently you have to spend one of its turret. Wow, okay, sure. So T-turret no longer let target visually. Okay. This is important because that was just cheesing. Quick steps on death. Nice. Okay. So overall, decent patch. I'm disappointed with some changes not being in this. For example, the Terra Tank main cannon turn speed. That should be like it should be an easy fix, and it's also very important for the Legion, especially now that they are pushed more towards the tank being their answer to the Reaver specifically. But you will probably miss a couple of shots when the Reaver is charging just somewhere, which is weird. But yeah, well, maybe next time. And like also, if you're going for an early Terra tank, it will often not connect with your opponent's army because the army is gonna walk around, and when the tank cannot take aim because its turret is like and the unit is like, wee, I'm fast, then it does not shoot. And you paid a lot of money for the tank, so Overall though, looking good, interesting stuff in here. The Rhino buffs, I mean, it will get fixed. But yeah, and I'm excited to play with Galavax, to be honest. Like, this is gonna be fun to play, for sure. It's not gonna be better, but it's gonna be fun. So yeah, let's do that and then end up having some amazing games.